I thought it was just another solo camping trip in the Adirondacks. 3 days, deep woods, complete silence. Then, on the second night, I heard my own voice calling to me from the darkness outside my tent. Story 1. The Voice in the White Mountains. I've been camping alone for years. There's something peaceful about the isolation, the self-reliance. Last October, I drove 8 hours to a remote trail in New Hampshire's White Mountains. The kind of place where you hike 3 miles just to reach a decent clearing. No cell service. No other campers for miles. The first day was perfect. I set up camp by 4 p.m., gathered firewood, boiled water for freeze-dried chili. The routine was comforting. I always camped the same way, tent facing east, food bag hung 50 yards away, headlamp and knife within arm's reach inside the tent. By 9 p.m., I was in my sleeping bag, reading by flashlight. That's when I heard the first branch snap. Now I know woods. Animals make noise, branches fall, wind plays tricks. But this was different, deliberate, rhythmic. Something walking in a wide circle around my camp, staying just beyond the firelight's reach. I sat up, killed my flashlight, and listened. Shh. The footsteps stopped the instant I moved. I waited 20 minutes in complete silence. Nothing. I chalked it up to a deer and tried to sleep. At 2047 a.m., I woke to humming. A woman's voice, soft and melodic, humming a lullaby my grandmother used to sing. It was circling my tent, the same wide radius as the footsteps. I grabbed my knife and my flashlight. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely grip them. I called out, "Who's there? I have a weapon." The humming stopped mid-note. Then from directly behind my tent, I heard my own voice. Not similar. Identical. It said, "Who's there? I have a weapon," with the exact same inflection, the same tremor of fear. I didn't sleep. I sat with my back against my pack, knife drawn, flashlight scanning the tent walls until sunrise. When dawn finally came, I packed up in 15 minutes and hiked out. I didn't run, but I didn't stop either. Here's what I still can't shake. When I collapsed my tent, there were handprints in the frost and the rainfly, small handprints, dozens of them, all around the tent, pressed against the fabric like someone had been feeling for the zipper all night long. Story 2, the watcher at Blackwater Creek, Sarah. A 29-year-old from Oregon sent me this account 3 months ago. She still hasn't been back to the woods. She'd chosen a dispersed camping spot near Blackwater Creek, a 7-mile hike from the nearest trailhead. It was late June, and she wanted to photograph the wildflowers at golden hour. She arrived at the clearing around 3 p.m., set up her tent, and spent the evening taking pictures along the creek. At dusk, she noticed something odd. In every photo she'd taken near a particular bend in the creek, there was a figure in the background, distant, barely visible among the trees, always in the same position. She'd been shooting for 2 hours, walking up and down a half-mile stretch of creek, but this figure never moved. She zoomed in on her camera's LCD screen. It was a person, facing her direction, completely still. Sarah called out, no response. She waved. The figure didn't move. She felt uneasy but rationalized it might be another camper, maybe someone meditating or bird watching. She returned to her campsite as darkness fell. At midnight, she woke to her tent shaking, not wind taking, not wind. The fabric was being grabbed and released, all around the perimeter. She screamed, "Get away from my tent!" It stopped immediately. She heard retreating footsteps, then nothing. Sarah kept her bear spray in hand and didn't close her eyes. At first light, she packed up and started the 7-mile hike out. 1 mile from the trailhead, she passed another hiker coming in. She warned him about someone harassing campers. He looked confused. "I've been on the trail since 5 a.m., he said. "You're the first person I've seen, and I'm the only one who signed the trail register in the last 3 days. Sarah checked her photos when she got to her car. The figure was in 47 pictures, and the last one, taken just before sunset, it was closer. Close enough to see it was wearing the exact same jacket as her." Story 3, the thing that followed me home. This is the one that made me stop solo camping. Last March, I went to the Pisgah National Forest in North Carolina. Deep backcountry, 5 miles off any maintained trail. I've camped there before. I know the area. The first 2 nights were uneventful. Cold, clear, quiet. On the third night, I heard something large moving through my campsite while I was in my tent. I could hear it sniffing, hear branches breaking under its weight. I assumed it was a bear and made noise, banged my pot, yelled. It left. In the morning I found tracks. Not bear, not deer. They looked almost human but elongated. With too many toes, they circled my tent 7 times, then led off into the forest. I hiked out that afternoon, 8-hour drive home. I felt relieved when I pulled into my driveway. That night, I heard the same sniffing outside my bedroom window, the same heavy footsteps in my backyard window, the same heavy footsteps in my backyard. When I looked out, I saw nothing, but my motion sensor light was on. It stayed on for 3 hours. For 2 weeks, I heard it every night, always between 2 and 4 a.m., always outside whatever room I was in. I called the police twice. They found nothing, no tracks, no evidence. Then it stopped, just as suddenly as it began. But sometimes, when I'm falling asleep, I still hear it sniffing at my door, and I wonder if it ever really left, or if it's just waiting for me to go back into the woods. If you've had your own experience while camping alone, you're not crazy. And you're not alone. Some things in the deep woods don't want us there, and some of them follow us home.